Hey guys, I'll be talking today about question number 10. And question number 10 starts off with asking, is this an effective way to tell a novel? And I'd have to say, yeah. Talking about Persepolis, I loved the comics, and I think that it's totally a unique way to tell the story. And on top of that, they used characters that aren't human, which I thought was interesting. Um, like, the way I kind of took this question was, you know, how about I compare two things? And like the conventional way, the average Holocaust story is kind of like Night, and it's by Eli Wiesel. I remember reading it, and it was like it told the story from the little boy's point of view, and it was interesting. I really enjoyed it, but I mean, it's kind of like how any of the Holocaust stories are told. And then you take Mouse, and it's a totally different perspective. It's like, when you have the comics involved, it's much shorter read, but it's also, I think that it's more in depth because you can see pictures. You can, like, I think that when someone is describing something, the way that they're going to portray that through an image is worth like 10 times more than words. I mean, look at my room. I'm all about art, so I love the comics, and I think that it made it way more descriptive and all of that. And especially how, like, I thought it was interesting how they use like the pigs for the German, which, like, like the connotation of a pig is like kind of dirty. They're not exactly thought of to be like, you don't want to be a pig, and like a mouse is just kind of like a small, like, they're easy, like how people always trap them. They're kind of easy to take advantage of. They're easy to kill, basically, and that's what the pigs did. They, or the Germans, whatever you want to call them, they killed them, most of them. And I don't know. I wrote down some things that, like, I thought were interesting to talk about, like, in between Night and Mouse, and it was just like, I thought that it was interesting too how, like, the way that Mouse was told, it was more so about, like, Art telling his dad's story, where, like, Art didn't exactly live the whole Holocaust situation, so he was telling the story of his father. And I thought that was really interesting because it's kind of a whole nother perspective, like, you also get to hear a little bit about Art. And I think that the Holocaust did have an effect on Art, even though he didn't live it, like his father did. And the way that his father raised him, and like the things that happened throughout his life, I think totally affected him, as you can see throughout his comic that he wrote. But anyways, not to get too off topic, bringing it back to the question, is this an effective way? How might it differ from a conventional Holocaust narrative? I think that the difference would be as how he did, like, the characters, and how it's a comic, and like just the average one would be, it's just words and telling like an autobiography of what happened. But that's my take on it. Thanks, guys.